I just want to talk about this thing that many women and girls put on their dating profiles that I just think is so stupid and grounded in such profound ignorance that they really need to think twice about this, because it puts a lot of guys off. And it puts a lot of guys off because it's not true. And it's dangerously not true as far as like their future mate selection is concerned. It's that thing that girls say. What are you? All right, so what are you looking for in a guy? And a lot of girls will say, "I want to meet someone who doesn't take himself too seriously." So I'm going to start the complete debunking of that statement. That's actually what women want, is someone who doesn't take himself too seriously, which is not true. With a quote that I came up with not too long ago. I think I posted it to Instagram or something like that. It basically went, if you don't take yourself seriously, then don't expect anyone else to. Right? So this is actually the fundamental difference, I think, between men and women on average, is that men tend to take themselves more seriously than women do. And this is grounded in, and not only that, but that's specifically what women like in men, is that men do take themselves seriously. And this is can be explained using personality traits, right? So on average, women tend to be much more agreeable than men. So they're nicer, they're kinder, they're much more likely to form coalitions and to participate in like group identity politics and stuff like that. They're more likely to play the supporting role. But that can be good, but the negative of that is that if you're too agreeable, you can be a pushover. You can't think for yourself, and you just kind of go along with whatever the people around you say, because you want to avoid conflict. And that can allow things to build up and explode at some point. And maybe that's why women are so crazy, right? Is because like they're more agreeable than you, probably, if you're a guy in a relationship, and she's going to go crazy on you one day because you haven't been picking up on the subtle cues that you didn't know were there, right? But it's because she doesn't like confrontation and she doesn't know how to handle it, so she goes crazy, right? Maybe there was something you should have been paying attention to, that you missed. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe she was just crazy. That's another discussion for another time. But either way, that is one way that women and men are fundamentally very different from a personality perspective. And also in openness, and trait openness, if you break it down into two categories, there's openness, there's interest in aesthetics and interest in ideas. And women tend to outnumber men in interest in aesthetics, and men tend to outnumber women in interest in ideas. And so women tend to read fiction, men tend to read nonfiction, more idea-based stuff, and they take it very seriously. It might, be more likely to, they're more likely to give their opinion on it and want to have a discussion about those sorts of things. A woman reading fiction is probably going to want to keep that little world to herself. Anyway, that's a generalization, but on average, it's true. And so I think that contrast is good. That's why men and women work well together. They kind of balance each other out in that regard. I mean, if you're someone who's very high in openness to ideas, you want a partner, ideally speaking, that's also interested in ideas, so you can have those discussions, right? But generally speaking, these are ways that men and women are different, and I think it's one way that it's the thing that women like in men is that men are different. Men are kind of more dangerous. They push the boundaries, that they do take themselves seriously. In fact, they take themselves so seriously that almost everything they do is geared toward, and every stride toward success is geared toward attracting a mate, and that involves climbing the social dominance hierarchy in society. And you have to take yourself very seriously to do that, you know? And what women like to do is kind of pick off the top of that dominance hierarchy. They want, at least they want to go as high as they possibly can go. They want to get the most successful mate they can, or at least the mate who has the greatest potential for success, right? Which would imply they want someone who takes themselves very seriously, who takes their ideas and their hobbies and their work and their social life and everything very seriously, their relationships, you know. It's fundamentally what women like in men, and it's fundamentally the way that men are different from women, is that men take themselves seriously. So ladies, if you find a guy who doesn't take himself seriously, he's probably a pushover, just like you. And it might be pleasant for a little while, but in the end, it's going to be a very unfulfilling relationship, and you're going to want to go look for a bad boy. You're going to want more excitement in your life, and you're going to want a man who plays that chaos role. You know, it's like you're order and he's chaos. You know. And there are obvious exceptions to that rule. You know, there are plenty of couples where the man is the orderly one and the woman is more chaotic, you know. Those tend to be very interesting. I only know, I think, one couple that's like that. And, well, to be honest, they have their fair share of serious problems. But generally speaking, yeah, the whole idea that women, what they put on their profiles on dating sites, that they want a man who doesn't take himself too seriously, is complete and utter rubbish. And that idea, you just need to get that out of your head, ladies, because it's actually not true. It's not what you want. You want kind of a bad boy, someone who's going to take you out of your comfort zone, someone who has potential for success. And to be successful, you have to take yourself very seriously. So, cheers.